Almost. Whoa! What time did I set it for? I think I set it for tomorrow. Yes, first, but you're an hour early now. That was an accident. Anyway, hello, and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion. Today is Friday, which is a community day, and side project day too. And side project day for me is going to be the bot, because I've been doing a lot of changes to the bot. I've been trying to get it set up on my other computer, as you saw all week. It is snowing in this window, and it was snowing here yesterday during the stream, which was insane. Reg was like, no, we just had our lawn aerated. So Reg also lives in Colorado. But yeah, so we're looking at a window somewhere in... Nope, I pushed the wrong button. Somewhere in BC, Canada. December of 2024. Man. Sure, getting a lot of December outdoors pictures. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get myself a little bit of energy. And I'm drinking this smoothie. That's pineapple passion fruit, and it sounded amazing. It's strong. It is, it's an experience, but still tasty. Just an experience. Okay, let's head on over to the desktop. So community day on our channel means that I'm happy to accept conversation and such from the community. I want to try to focus more on the community. My bot is currently not working. I did get it up and running. Everything is fine. I just have the server stopped because there was one other thing that I was working on currently. But do I really need to? I don't really need to, so I can definitely do a lot more paying attention to you guys. And of course, there is going to be the issue when PubSub is completely no longer supported and we have to use event sub. Same with chat, same with IRC. That's going to be an issue. As you can see up there, something that I didn't realize, but is a thing, is that I didn't turn streamer mode off, which I guess I can do. What I did before was I had streamer mode always off, but I can just disable it for community days. That way, when someone does decide to hop into Discord chat for community day, their name will appear up there, non-truncated. And that is one of the things that I guess I am indicating that you're opting into. If you choose to do voice chat, your name will appear up there in the corner as it appears in Discord, at least on our server. But you can always change your name before joining the chat. But the phone lines are open. Unfortunately, we won't have the exclamation point waiting command until I get the bot back up and running fully, which again, it is working. I changed around a lot of the way that it does work. And this is a great conversation starter. I think I just found another use for AI for myself. This doesn't mean it's going to be this way for anyone else, but I already do a lot of multitasking just naturally. It's difficult for me to, I don't know, I don't want to say focus on one thing because it's more than just focusing on a thing. It is because I can focus on more than one thing at the same time. I'm not as fantastic or great, but at any of the things because my attention is divided. But here's the thing that I'm doing. I will pull you into the room here in a second, TBD, after I say this. I am using a combination of Gemini and Claude to work on side projects while I do my regular day job. Okay, that said, I'm pulling you into the stream room in 5 seconds TBD with some delay. 5, 4, 3, 2, Wanderson. Delay. In. And it even makes the noise too.
Oh.
Hello, I need to turn you
All
up
the
in my
sounding.
ears, but your volume is perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, hello, welcome in. Great stream this morning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You do seem to be doing a lot
that's
better.
That's been fun experimenting.
Yeah. Are you guys getting an echo?
I haven't been in weeks and weeks and weeks, so I have an echo?
Not you. It's because dang it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. All right, let's do it this way. Okay, speak again.
Hello. Is it working now?
I mean, it's been working the whole time. It was just that I have Discord going through both the secondary audio, and I created an application audio source just to see if that works better for the stream. And I kind of think that I want it as the application audio source. Hold on,
it's fun messing around with audio, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, I don't think that I have as many issues with audio as I have heard other people having. It's just I need to make the decisions on what I want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I decided to give up on trying to, because what I've tried to do is split so I can use the same headphones and the same microphone for work and for personal stuff, etc. I've given up on that. I'm going to go back to just the Stream Deck Plus.
Oh yeah, and your microphone really likes to do this to you, where you'll be talking and it either detects a peak and then it auto adjusts its volume down, which is fine. I can adjust you from here, but it's doing that to you so often, and it's at random times.
So we might just go back to the old mixer with get rid of the Stream Deck Plus out of the equation and go back to the mixer with the SM7B.
Oh, like an actual physical mixer.
Yeah.
And not like voice meter.
I think I've got problems since I added software into the mix. The Stream Deck Plus is nice. It has the XLR interface, but basically it comes out with software, right? So it's all USB. Whereas with the mixer, I'm basically lining to the PC. There's no automatic screwing around with the audio volume. So we shall see.
Yeah, well, this is a fantastic treat. I know you usually have had meetings lately, especially during community days. They're like, hey, we want to talk to you, even though we didn't have a meeting scheduled for you. We just want to make one up just because we know you want to.
That's kind of why I jumped in, because I was all clear. And then they dropped 2 hours of meetings on me. So I thought I'll drop in and at least say hello, because it's been weeks since I've been in, thanks to surgery and things like that. And but yeah, it's good to be getting back into the groove with the stream and the software development stuff. That need to just get back on pace with things, you know.
I do know. I really do.
I've been playing with more AWS for work stuff and trying to learn my way or navigate my way through that. And that's a challenge. Getting more into cloud.
Yeah, I really haven't had to do too much with AWS lately. It was really a set it and forget it. But the thing that I'm doing with DDMS is we're moving to S3 for all of our file storage, because right now we have somewhere around 2.3 terabytes of file storage. and it costs a lot of money.
Yep.
They're like, let's just see if we can save money by moving it to S3, and it is a lot cheaper. And you can still treat it like a file system that web apps are connected to, which is super nice.
Yeah, it's I'm okay with using technologies like S3 and setting up some of the basics, but I'm starting to have to learn more about how would I deploy an application? How does that setup work? And you know, that's a whole different world. Because I'm trying to figure out what the developer experience looks like as well.
Oh yeah.
How do I tell developers
I have
is
a
how to do
bit
this?
of experience with it, but again, as a solo developer.
Yeah.
So, are you actually thinking about deploying development apps to AWS that other developers can access from their machines?
Well, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to navigate an organization that has no experience of providing developers sandboxes to play with.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a challenge. So they want to control everything, right? So they want to tell us what we can do. So in that event, what do we do? You know, and they're like, oh, it's just containers anyway. So just build containers on your local machine, and that's fine. I'm like, but how do the developers test and develop things like queues and database interactions and all those things that aren't going to be in that container? Like that's useful. So I'm trying to get Aspire running and see what it looks like with AWS, and then I'm finding that the Aspire tools for AWS are literally being changed now. Like there's bugs in the toolkit that are being discovered like within the last couple of days, and I'm right on the edge of that. So that's ooh, that was a big message.
Holy crap! I know. What exactly is that?
That trigger is that comes. Is it AI API working? Yes, it is functioning.
Here's a conversation between the AI and some chatters, and here's just random stuff.
Okay.
It knows about Dukasoft bot though. Oh, because Dukasoft bot did say something earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah, hopefully next week get back into doing developers.stream and get that up and running. Like I'll start refreshing myself on that over the weekend, so I'm not just starting from okay, how does this work on Monday? And I've been kind of tinkering bits with Liquid Sky off stream. So yeah.
Famazon, because you wouldn't want to see me without a shirt on. Why do you buy any kind of shirt?
You have some of the best t-shirts. I love a lot of your t-shirts. And every time I see you with one, I'm like, oh, I could do that shirt. And I'm like,
yeah.
No, I've got enough t-shirts. I don't need to buy any more t-shirts.
I really I got a lot of these after. Well, no, I still had some of them while I was working at the Arsenal and going to site, but I was always wearing business casual. But it would have been fun to wear some of them to work. Like just pretend I'm not here. That's what I'm doing. It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, you have some amazing t-shirts.
A few of them were gifted from my mother-in-law, and she
right.
Yeah, she understood my oh, what do you call it? Paradoxical nature, as far as I want to connect with other developers and talk with them and learn from them and share ideas, but I'm also an introvert that doesn't really like to interact with people in general. So
yeah. Yes, it's a fine balance.
Yeah. But anyway, this is just a public service announcement. That's all. Just remember, change your passwords.
Yeah.
Especially if you accidentally expose them while you're working on your bot on stream. Not that happened
easy to
on
do.
Wednesday.
Very easy to do.
Or yesterday.
Very easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy though, because like I remember getting everything on Angie's setup so that he would be an IIS server. And I remember configuring app settings.production.json, but I opened up regular app settings.json and it had my DB connection, even though everything else was set in secrets.
Right.
It had my real connection string.
Uh,
And I was like,
right.
what? How? I know how. My published profile. Yeah, I'm going to open my published profile on stream so that you can see the connection string. I bet
your
you
resolution, your resolution is not easily readable.
It's not conducive to people being able to see
If I pull a
it.
microscope out, I can I might be able to make out some of it.
Oh man.
It's funny. So when I first started streaming, I was trying to balance. I like a lot of monitor space, and I quickly realized that if I wanted a big monitor with a high resolution, it would be difficult to get onto stream, and then I'd have to figure out, okay, well, when I'm streaming, I want this resolution, and when I'm not streaming, I want this resolution. And eventually, I just got a larger size monitor, just went 1440p. I'm like, I'm streaming this, and so I now stream in big chunky text all the time, like so it's readable on stream. But if I Discord share, anyone can read it, and there's no question. So that's how I work.
The stream monitor that we were using was a 1080, and that one just decided to stop showing me pictures. So I got a new monitor and it's 4K. And I'm like, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at 4K and zoom in on the editor, and then anything that actually needs to be shown bigger, I'll just use the Windows magnifier.
Yeah. Mr. Anhorn, he streams on a 4K. When he streams on a 4K monitor, and he did experiment with kind of like a zoom window approach where you could actually like focus on a part of the screen and it would be larger. And unfortunately, it creates nausea.
Oh no. Yeah, that's why I use this for my zoom. I just use the actual magnifier part. I don't do the full screen zoom.
Yeah, he had this like dynamic zoom thing, and it was quite always moving. It was nauseating. But yeah, I've just found the balance. I mean, I have two monitors here. This one, the one I stream off, is the one in front of me, and that's 2560 by 1440, and then the other one's 35 something.
Yeah. Whatever 4K is, that's not actually 4000.
Yeah, they're both 32 or 34-inch monitors, but they're one's ultra wide and one's just a regular square. So
that's what this one is. 3840 by 2160. Yeah. But I think it does support. Oh, maybe it doesn't. I could have sworn that this monitor supported the 4000 whatever.
Yeah. Actually, I do have a 4K screen, but it's dumped to the side of the desk because it was 4K, but it was a 60 hertz. And once you start working in 144 hertz, it's like a 60 hertz panel just does not feel fun. So I was like, nah.
Yeah. No, I definitely get it, because you don't realize it until you are actually using anything over 100 hertz that the refresh rate really, really plays a big part in how you perceive the data on the screen.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah,
I guess I could like zoom in, like use the Windows scale during the stream times, but I'm too lazy for that, man.
Well, like I said, I found a thing that worked for me on and off stream, and that's kind of what I've stuck with, because I found that every time I was messing around with stuff, it just became more of an irritant than it was was worth it. So I just found,
Mm.
okay, this is a good thing for me. So I don't need to use a 4K monitor with two monitors, one with a lot of space. And I rarely use that space. I normally do everything on the one screen. So
Yeah,
it's
now that you say that, it is kind of funny because I'm only ever at this computer when I'm streaming anymore. It used to be the one that I was always at for all of my development work and stuff, but I've been super lazy lately, and I just go back to the couch after streaming and before streaming, and that's only one screen there.
Yeah, I can't. Well, Liquid Sky, I can't develop off anything smaller than a full PC because it's so many moving parts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I only have a 2017 MacBook Pro, which is never going to keep up. That's just got 16 gig of memory. That's not going to keep up with Liquid Sky.
And you can't just remote to primary?
Well, the problem is with the way I've got Liquid Sky set up right now, everything's local, so it's not really set up for that remote. I suppose I could remote into the machine, but
yeah, that's what I mean. Like RDP, for example.
Remoting into a Windows PC and using a Mac keyboard. I'm not sure I'm not sure my brain. It's hard enough I switch back and forth between Mac and Windows all day. Mess with my head.
That is kind of what I'm doing with this keyboard. It has a lot of Mac keys on it, even though it is a Windows keyboard. But man, on the flipping iPad, I get so confused because there's the command key and the option key. And sometimes the command key works like the option or like alt, and sometimes option works like alt. And I'm like, I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be pushing.
Well, I just bought this new Keychron, this Q5, whatever it is. I think it's Q5. And it has a Windows on Mac switch. So when I'm working during the day, I leave it switched to Mac, and then I just switch to back and forth between my work laptop and the PC. And then when I stop with work at night, I just flick it over back to Windows. So now the Windows key is in the place that I need, and it's set. It's the key layout's actually got the Mac keys on it, but I'm like, I'm good with that. So it's working pretty well so far.
What is that drink, by the way? Asked Dana. Donna. It's called Splendid Spoon Pineapple Passion Fruit Smoothie. We got it as a Blue Apron Extra because I wanted to try out their smoothies, and I thought it would give me a little bit of an extra kick especially on Fridays. I've been feeling very, very drained at the end of the week, so I'm hoping this would give me just a small extra boost. I don't really like it though. I wouldn't get it again.
Unfortunately, I have to go.
No, I was about to ask you if you had your input about our AI conversations, because you do have a lot. Never had the opportunity to voice them.
Yeah, unfortunately, they've just dropped 2 hours of meetings on me.
Yeah.
So I must drop, but I will return next week probably. Cool. And we'll get the conversation in somewhere.
Sounds good.
Prompt the conversation again.
I really appreciate you joining, though.
Well, no worries. Thank you very much for having me. Have a great stream.
I will give everyone information about you here in a second. I just don't want to hold you up.
Appreciate it. Take care, son. I'm going.
Bye. So that was TBD Gamer. If you guys don't know TBD Gamer, he is also No! Don't follow that one. Where did that S come from? That was TBD Gamer singular, the singular TBD Gamer. I'll do a real shout out for him soon enough. I don't know TBD Gamers. Maybe follow them, maybe not. But TBD Gamer is a very talented .NET developer. He works in so many cool technologies, as he was just talking about. He uses AWS now at work. He's getting very tired of it from what I hear. And he uses Kafka. He uses Message Bus, I think. He uses all the things that I don't really use. Oh my goodness, this thing is making me burp a lot though. But he streams Monday through Friday. This week, he was streaming his bot upgrade development work because Twitch is changing their API, getting rid of IRC and PubSub and going to event sub for everything. and he was talking through what he's doing to his bot to get it updated, or to his bot code, I guess, because yeah. Anyway, so he was just using that to get back into the habit of streaming, because just before that he had some surgery and was recovering, and now he's back to streaming and just getting used to it. So that's TBD Gamer. He also works on another side project, or I guess I should tell you about his main project first. His main project is called Liquid Sky. I'm sure I put a command in my thing for. What did I call you? Else Sky, I think. Hold on. Oh, just Sky. No, it is Else Sky. I wanted to do LS because I thought that was funny, because it's what you use to list out the directory of a folder that you're in PowerShell. So anyway, he works on Liquid Sky, which is a project management and planning platform, as you can see in the message. But if you aren't reading the message, that's totally okay. You're not expected to. It is a thing that will hopefully organize work better than the existing tools out there like Jira or Azure DevOps. And I like the approach he's taking. I like the technologies he's working in. If anything, it is just awesome to see him working in these other technologies that I don't really use. Liquid Sky is not. He has open sourced his Kafka library wrapper for it, but he does intend to make it into a for real project that could be used by development teams all around the world at some point in the future. But again, even if it doesn't get to that point, I'm sure he agrees with this. He talks like this is how he feels about it. Even if it doesn't get to the point where it is a real platform that is commercially used, he's still enjoying the process of making this thing and learning from it. And I enjoy watching him do that. It's really great over on his stream, so definitely check him out. On Fridays, he typically works on his side project called developers.stream. And that is going to be a platform that will allow developers who are streamers to register their information in, put a little blurb about themselves. And as you are streaming, if you're using a bot or you just feel like looking it up manually yourself, you can go to this repository, see where see who is a developer that streams. And if they join your channel, if they chat in your channel and they are registered on this thing, you could call into the API, do a quick shout out for them, get the blurb for them, find out what they were working on recently, if they keep it updated like that. So I think it's going to be a great little tool for being able to promote other developers as well as yourself. Make yourself discoverable. And for everyone else, anyone that's not a streamer and they're just looking for someone that streams on whatever platform too. It could be Blue Sky, it could be Facebook Live, it could be anything. They can just add their information using that platform, and you could go there, search for whatever topic it is, and then get back a list of streamers and what platforms they stream on. So yeah, I'm gonna rave about TBD Gamer a lot. He's just very talented, very bright. Bright. Okay, it is still Community Day, so if you have any topics that you're interested in discussing, we can definitely do that. We can shift to those topics, just bring them up. It is a day for sharing any projects that you have been working on, getting critiques on web applications or just code in general, getting help with stuff, talking about technologies you're interested in. Just bring up some topics. Discord voice channel is open. And now that my bot is listening, you can use... Did I put the wrong access level on that? Community Day 0. Huh. Apparently there was something that I did. Right, access level 0. There is no access level 0 anymore. My access levels now start at 1. And so since it's not on there, let me update that on the database. So as I mentioned, I recently set up a different computer, and that computer is going to be my database server, internal web application server. It will be hosting my bot, all of that stuff. Come on, you can do it. Stone Eagle says, using a library that works but does not do the things that the other library does that doesn't work is nice. That kind of reminds me of trying to switch from like in one of the other apps that I maintain, they were using JFreeChart because it was a Java application. And there was a library called Microsoft.visualization.something that generated charts that looked exactly like it. But the first thing that I went to was the one that everyone knows about, which is Chart.js, because it's easy to use. And like I was able to create charts that were just like, bam, all I have to do is put in the data and here's the type of charts that I want. But none of them looked like the charts generated by this previous library, and it was missing certain other types of charts that this application generates. And I'm like, no. And they needed them for compliance reports, and they wanted to keep consistency and all that. So yeah. So Dana wants to continue the conversation about testing, so we can definitely do that for sure. This is Electron without being Electron. Why did you open over here? Go over here. I had this window open so we could share stuff here. So Photino is Electron without being Electron, and it does not handle JavaScript full screen events. Great. Lightweight open source framework for building native cross-platform desktop applications with web UI technology. However, we do not support JavaScript full screen. So what do you mean by JavaScript full screen? Can you go into more detail? Real quick, let me update the database and then we can start talking about more stuff about testing, and we can look into that a little bit deeper to go into more of what it is that you're looking for, Dane. If you have anything specific that you want to start talking about in more detail, then please mention it. So it's when you do element.request full screen. And that's a thing that happens often, because it kind of sounds like that's a vulnerability to users. If JavaScript can full screen a web app without their, like, I can see where you would want to use it for videos and full screening the application itself in an opt-in way, but it kind of seems like that might just be able to be done without user interaction, I guess. Wait, what? My access levels are set to 1. Huh? Where are you getting this from? Automated realms. Refresh commands. Okay. And how about now? What? So I'm looking at my commands list, and the records that it's showing are different than the actual records in the database. But only as far as... Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong column. Just kidding. Okay. Just kidding. refresh commands. And okay, that looks better. How about now? No. Now I'm just spamming chat. What in the world? You can too. What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay. So Electron handles it natively. I made my own integration, but this is Stony Eagle saying this regarding that Protino or Fotino. Sorry. I made my own integration, but there was another bug, one that gives it a white border. That is like if it's a Windows application, there is a default on full screen. So if you're testing it on Windows, I mean, it's going to happen. You just have to account for there is a default border on full screen Windows that you have to change the value of using Windows Chrome. I have not found an easier way to do that. And thankfully, I'm not working on Windows desktop apps anymore. But like here, you can see that you can't see the rounded corners when you're maximized, for example. It's not the same as full screen, but you know what I mean. But it gets rid of this purple border and it gets rid of the rounded corners, and that's just a thing that you have to do manually if you're making your own, for example, Maui application targeting Windows. All right, what am I missing? Automated realms just kept telling me no, no, no. Screw you, automated realms. I managed to make it work, so as it should, so I'm good. Now I'm integrating it into my tray icon so you can launch and close the UI. Cool. And Donna says, I'll let you know if I have some specific questions. I at least tried some integration testing for the blob download scenario I mentioned yesterday and found some errors due to file being opened simultaneously by another process. So that's good find. Yeah, absolutely. Learn some more about the using keyword stuff as well, which I haven't used that much, but it's really handy. Especially like my favorite are using the I don't know what the term is for it. It's pretty much block scoped usings. So scoped usings, I guess, as opposed to usings with the curly braces with bodies. I really do like those much better. And then the other one that I learned about that is very interesting to me. Oh, that's not going to work. Let's try using var. Here we go. Okay, so not having to use curly braces around a using, which just means that it's going to do all of its dispose stuff here at the end of scope, which is cool because that also means that you can put it inside of an if statement, and once it's outside of that if statement, you'll get a new scope. However, the other thing that I'm more recently learned, which I would say it's about a year ago maybe, here I am using the using block to instantiate an asynchronous object. And since this asynchronous object also implements iasync disposable, anyway, I'm pretty sure this implements iasync disposable. We could use, and this was just super weird to me, await using var context equals await db context, create db context async, which looks odd, but what this allows it to do is use the iasync disposable method instead of just the regular dispose. So this uses dispose async, which I thought was cool. And I didn't really know about that until I used it once. I don't even remember how I got around to using it. I don't know if it was a suggestion from Copilot or if it was just someone in chat that told me about it during a stream, but I thought it was cool. Okay. Stony Eagle said, I managed to make it work. Oh, I already read that one. So my workaround is to set the size to screen -1 and height -1, and then to full width and full height. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a thing you could do. But the only, not the only, one of the things I would point you to is to test it on a multi-screen setup where the edges will overflow either above, below, or left and right. I mean, 1 pixel overlap from one screen to another doesn't sound terrible, but it could annoy people. You never know. And then the one that I only recently realized needed to be tested, which you should be pretty confident that as long as you're using best practices, this won't be a thing, but try it on a virtual display as well. Ooh, it's really gritty. Very, very gritty. And it's only 180 calories. Oh, sorry, 360 because there are 2 servings per bottle. But it's got a ton of good stuff. All organic. A virtual display, not a virtual window. So, for example, if you have a VR headset or an AR headset, and you have virtual desktop or Mirage desktop, those allow you to create additional display devices. And so like in a HoloLens, which why bother talking about HoloLens anymore, but in a HoloLens, Mirage desktop will allow you to create these virtual windows and show them and place them anywhere as if they are, or I said windows now, virtual desktop, as well as and place them wherever you want and size them up to like 270-inch TV at 6 feet away. It's kind of what I think the size translates to. But essentially, the only thing that makes it different is that it is not a physical device connected to the machine. It is just a virtual display. And there are a few applications that I used regularly that had issues. Do I remember what those issues are, though? I just remember running into issues with a couple of applications when I moved them to that virtual window. I keep saying window because I keep reading your chat message. Virtual display. Okay, so here's the thing. As you can see here, this is my LLM. And if we ask it, what is a virtual display? Or how is a virtual display For example, a display created using Mirage desktop on a HoloLens, different from a physical display when it comes to rendering apps. Okay, so automated realms. The thing that's happening is that I send a message to automated realms, and when it calls to the API, it takes like forever. It just takes forever. That is automated realms, right? And not the running app. No, this is automated realms. Dang it. And it takes forever before it actually gets to the API and is processed by the API. But as soon as the API receives the message, it generates output. Oh, I did @1lion. Oh my gosh, how is this supposed to work? A little distracted. Automated realms. Okay, so you saw I sent the message, and here we are about 10 seconds later, 5 to 10 seconds later, before it responds. But that did take 2 seconds before it responded, which is longer than usual. There. Dang, why are you taking 2.5 seconds? So that really felt like the amount of time that we waited after I hit enter to the time that it displayed the I received your message, I processed it, and I generated output, which was 2.4 seconds almost, was about the amount of time it took for it to respond. But what's been happening is when I run it on the server, which is sitting over there, it takes about 20 seconds before it actually responds, or before we even see any output. Like the output itself has been taking anywhere between 0.2 seconds and 2.5 seconds, which isn't that long. But if you are doing something in chat, like you're trying to use the archery bot, for example, which is currently turned off, and you redeem it and you're sitting there, I will assume that the archery bot is broken, and then 20 seconds later, it'll send us back a response that took 0.6 seconds to generate, and I'll be like, wait, it is working. That is not a 4-line poem. Okay, anyway, Stony Eagle said, I have 2 monitors, virtual window ? At that point, I may just use the PWA version or the normal browser version. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Now that you say that, Jump Desktop is what I use to pretty much VNC into my different machines. And Jump Desktop, if I have it open on the virtual display and I do full screen, it full screens on a connected display. So that's why that came up. Thank you for reminding me. That's why I just thought of that when you were talking about trying to use JavaScript full screen. So yeah, this really does seem like it is going as fast as it should. What even is this though? Like, where are my debug messages? The only thing that's showing here is the response it generated. Transformed message. This is when I'm slicing up a long message into 500 character chunks. But why is that the only thing? Like, one change that I recently, I'm just talking about this like I was talking about it for the past 20 minutes, but I was only saying it in my head, and you have no idea what the context is. So I recently set up. Never mind, I see it. I recently set this up so that I configure my Serilog settings in here, because on the server, I want my Serilog settings to log to event log. And the way that I was originally doing it was hard to maintain, because I wanted the ability to turn on debug logging on the server just by changing my app settings, and then change it back to information or warning or whatever level it was going to be at by default. And when I did that, I changed, I don't know where anything is anymore. Extensions, service extensions. I changed my Serilog configuration from some other weird thing that it doesn't look like anymore to just get the Serilog settings from configuration, which was super nice, super easy, by the way. But one of the things that's not configured in my app settings is a sync. So I need to tell it to log to console. By adding right to, oh man, what's the one for console? I think it is, so I'm just looking at my right to event log on the server. Oops. Okay, right to name. Oops. And again, just because I'm doing this, please feel free to bring up any thoughts and questions and conversations and things that you want to talk about and show and whatever. You can do it. You can. What happened to this? Why did you get all mangled? That's very weird. Well, that was weird. All right, so name is console, I think, is the Serilog right to console. So I am specifically looking for, I mean, you can see it here, so that's good. Here it is. Okay, so Serilog right to name console. Yay! Ooh, what's this? I kind of want this. Still, do I need to download an extra package for this? I don't think I need any extra packages for getting the colorization. Still. I'd say put AMA in your screen title. Well, like I said, I am extremely lazy when it comes to streaming. It's community day, so that should be enough to let you know that it's community day. Talk about stuff. I'll be working on side project and bot and stuff, but yeah, you'll get used to it being community day where you can bring up whatever topics, compared to my regular work days, which I'm like, you can say whatever you want and bring up whatever you want. I just won't necessarily respond to everything because I'll be focused on doing work. But that's different than today. So either adding a tag or changing the title. I don't know. Is that a lot of work? AMA. But I don't want you to ask me stuff. I want you to talk about stuff. Bring up topics. I'm not a question and answer robot. I'm a conversationalist. So CMA just sounds like cover my. Gosh, get off my back, says Stony Eagle. I was just suggesting something. Why you gotta jump down my throat? Jeebus, man. Sorry. I really do apologize for coming across so aggressively. Has anyone here ever worked with Maxim Mind GeoIP? No, I have not. Anyone else heard of this? Oh, just MaxMind? MaxMind GeoIP. What is this? Show me pictures of the app. These are not great pictures. Those aren't pictures. Those are actually doing things. Where you are going to look up IP addresses and you're going to see the location, network, postal code. Okay, so it's a way for doing geolocation on IP addresses, which is what Dane just wrote. But I've just started working with it at work. Interesting that you would need this for a work product. This kind of seems like a tool that I don't want to say it that way, but that hackers would use to do social engineering attacks of some sort. All I need, I get from Cloudflare headers. It's for advertisement. Like I said, hackers to do social engineering attacks. That's a hot take. That's all advertisements are. Social engineering attacks. Thank you for not showing my IP address. There's some websites that, like, if you go to them, they just pop your IP address right up at the top. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Can we go to maps, see how accurate this thing is? Wow. Okay, so it pretty much located my ISP. Wow. Jeez, Dunny Eagle. Is your IP not already somewhere in my logs? Don't worry, I have better things to do. I did restart my router while I was doing all of those changes yesterday to try to get the IIS server to do everything I wanted it to do. So I do have a new WAN IP address than I did before, but it's still... Anyway, the new thing is that instead of using the REST API, we aim to use their database locally, which is a bit of a new workflow for me. So are you doing something like replicating their database? Yeah. It makes sense to do it for performance because you don't have to go to an internet service to do whatever lookup it is you're doing. But that means that you're doing some kind of data migration and what's the word I'm looking for? Audit. They have MMDB files designed for fast IP lookup. Wow. Yeah, I would assume that changes often. So you have to clone it or do whatever it is that you're doing to get the database over. And yeah, that's kind of crazy. I do want to hear more about this, but like the things that are coming to mind are you're downloading their entire database every time you want to do an update on yours, I assume because of how many IP addresses there are out in the world, or even in your geographic area only, if you narrow it down to that, or your user base geographic area, that doing a reconciliation is the word I'm looking for. Doing a reconciliation on your database to their whole database, I would assume every morning or midnight or whatever, would be more costly because you're not even using all of those records. You probably aren't even using 10% of the records than just doing the lookup every time you need it. Interesting. Yeah, it's not super massive, it sounds like. Okay. So updating the database is the tricky part. I'm not sure how often they update, but I think my boss wanted to update it a few times a week, which makes sense. Makes sense. Like I said, just yesterday I restarted my router, so I got a new IP address. But where does their database of IPs come from? It would be some repository of leased IP addresses, or every IP has a pool of IP addresses they can use. Did I say that correctly? Every ISP has a pool of IP addresses that they can use. And that list doesn't change very often at all. So pretty much you're just going to get the ISP's location. Okay. Yeah, so if you're taking recommendations, you don't have to take this recommendation at all. Do a quick research on how often do they update their databases of IPs and how do they put them together essentially. Because you might not have to update multiple times a week. Ooh, that last drop. Yeah, definitely not going to get that again. All right, so they update twice a week, just like that. You found it. Took no time at all. Outrageous, says Stony Eagle. How dare you reset your router? It wasn't my fault though. It wasn't bad. Like, it's drinkable, but it's not something I would want to have often. It just has so many good for you things in it. Let me see if I can pull this up on a picture. It is Splendid Spoon, pineapple, passion fruit smoothie. Wait, where was this picture? It pretty much tasted just like this, like they didn't really mix them. Or if they did mix them, they left the rind of the pineapple in there. It does sound good, and it looked good. Yeah, it was this Tokos stuff that I really, really wanted. And this kind of tastes like whey powder. I don't know if you've ever had that. Yeah, it is very milky though. You're not wrong. And I absolutely love matcha, aka passion fruit. It's so good. But yeah, it has real ingredients for one, non-synthetic ingredients. Organic sea buckthorn berry. But yeah, it's this Tokos powder from Rice Bran Solubles. That is the thing that drew me to it. The thing that was good for us. Just in case it was too small still. Yeah, and I shook it for like 5 minutes straight. Oh, speaking of milk, there was this drink that I used to get at university that doesn't exist anywhere else, and it was called Cal C, which is... let's not open Amazon. No, that's calcitose. Here. Is this it? This is it. Oh man, this was so good. But I think it was created by and for Kansas State University. But it's a blend of milk and juice, pretty much. Water, peach juice from concentrate, skim milk, fructose, mango puree from concentrate. Anyway, it was tasty. I liked it a lot. I used to get it almost every day. Walgreens? Wait, oh, probably calcitose. Calcitose. It's like, I can get it here. Nuh-uh. All right, Dana is saying, my plan on how to pull off the database update is to have the database file stored in blob on Azure. Cool. I would then have an Azure function or similar responsibility for updating the blob. Oh, I totally, like, I even added ility to the end of that and you didn't type ility. I would have an Azure function or similar responsible for updating the blob. The .NET app would have some sort of scheduled process to download the file from Azure at regular intervals. Does that sound reasonable? It does sound reasonable. Just because it's what I'm familiar with using, I would use the task scheduler on the server. But I really don't know how that works on Azure. Like, I'm so used to working with servers that I could log into and they're full Windows servers. But the way I would do it is have a task scheduler run whatever console application that I make responsible for doing the give me the new download. Then that would store a message in a message queue that says, hey, a new download is available. And then the other worker function that is responsible for doing the database update would receive that message. So I think the way that that translates to Azure is you use something like Azure Message Bus. I really am not good with Azure. I don't know anything about it. What is Azure Message? I mixed two things, message queue versus service bus. Sure, tell me the difference between those. Service bus queues versus Azure queue service. There's even a third thing called Azure Queue Service. Storage queues versus service bus, but essentially some kind of messaging system that the thing that's responsible for getting run on a task, on a scheduled task, would be responsible only for, is there a new version available? If so, download it, and that's it. And then store a message in the queue that says there is a new version of the database available. And then your process that is always running, that's just checking the message queue for any new messages, says, hey, there's a new message. And so it checks it and it says, oh, there's a new message. There's a new database available. I had better go and get that database and update it. Yeah. But you said some form of message bus to tell the apps that the database has been updated. Only the app responsible for updating the database. The way that you could inform regular applications that the database has been updated, like if you're talking about client applications, for example, then they could have, you could use local storage or whatever it's called. What's the new one called that I haven't used yet that I'm interested in? I don't think it's extension storage. But anyway, some kind of storage, cache storage, local storage, that stores the database version or last updated information and compare that to the database version that is already, or that's stored in the database itself. So last updated date for the database. Yeah. Brain. Articulate better. So Donna is saying, I'm thinking that there could be many instances of the same app and they would all have to download the new version, I guess. Oh, so you're not going to have another architecture that I'm aware of that I have not used is a master database. So essentially, you have the one database that gets updated from, you're essentially doing that with using your third-party source as your master database. But you get the new file, you update your local master database, and then all of the apps will replicate that database as needed. So if you have like a distributed system, for example, instead of all of them accessing the same database, they all manage their own database server. That's just a replication of your master database. Is replication even a word? Did I just make that up? It's a word. DNA replication. Oh, heck yeah. Did you make this, Gemini? Or is this from someone's site? This is kind of cool. I've never seen something like this. Oh, so I did get a notification on my phone that there's the draw a box around anything in a picture and it'll use lens, I think. But now apparently it is detecting the word DNA or DNA replication in the image itself. What's up with this like biology thing? Like, why are you highlighting biology when DNA? Anyway, that was fun. So anyway, yeah. It sounds like it's going to be a really fun project, though, at least. I hope you're not super stressed out by it and that you're able to have a lot of fun. Like, I know that some amount of stress is going to happen. But that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, that's probably already open. I need to set up some lurkage. For you. And you. No. Dana is saying it is fun. Oh geez, I turned her up too loud. Sorry, sorcerer, I need to turn you down. It is fun. It's a bit tricky, and it's also the reason why I want to make sure it's fairly well tested. Yeah, very cool. Have you what are your thoughts and feelings about using AI to help fill in knowledge gaps? For example, figuring out what to test. Like the question that you asked us, would you be comfortable asking Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, Bing, whatever else is out there? Have you already done so? For the same kind of feedback, you mean? Yeah, I've already done so. Cool. Yeah, mostly just should I kind of questions, like is this standard practice, is this normal, is this industry standard, those kinds of questions. I'm sure a lot of people are okay with asking, but then and then maybe another style of question would be, these are some tests that I've written, are they good tests, how would you improve them? As opposed to questions like, and I think people take more issue with this kind of question to an AI system, is write me some tests for my scenario. I think for whatever reason, that's just not looked well. What's the word I'm looking for? It's frowned upon in our community. And I don't mean like our community as in One Lions community. I mean in general in software development. So not the types of questions that you are asking, but the ones that say write code for me. So for example, if I have my bot and I'm like, here is my library code, write tests, write appropriate tests for this library. I think we had a conversation 2 Fridays ago where DC Aggie was talking about writing the tests and then having an AI generate the library based on those tests. Seems kind of like the more correct direction. But writing a library and then having the AI write tests, like for me, that makes sense to do because it's like, I'm not great at tests. But then how do you know it's testing all the right things? How do you know that the tests are actually I was going to say functional tests, but that's not really what I mean. Appropriate, I guess. It's a bit of a double-edged sword because sometimes it's really good and other times it's just wrong or done in a poor way. Man, and I just thought of why it was that I'm really, really looking forward to talking with TBD about his thoughts on this. He has a thought on this, and I don't want to just like try to make it out to where I'm keeping his thought from being valid. It is absolutely valid. He makes a great point. I would just like to discuss it with him, and if you have any opinions on this too. He's like, one of the things that I see people doing is, or not see people doing, think people are doing, I guess, is that they are asking AI to write code for them. They're copying and pasting that code, and it may work. It may do the thing that they're trying to do, but then the next time they go and look at that code to try to change something, or they do run into an issue, they don't know what it is and what it does and how to fix it. And so there's an argument to be made that having an AI generate code for you and just copying and pasting it without really reading through it, without implementing it yourself, you're not going to know your code base. However, and this is what I want to discuss with him specifically, or any of you, I'm constantly seeing this path that we are on where we are not going to be writing code. We're going to give our responsibility for writing code over to AI. There are going to be fewer people. I mean, it's going to take a long time for this to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. It probably won't even happen in the next 5 years. But eventually, we're not going to know how to write C#, C++, Python, Fortran, whatever. Instead, we will know how to properly interact with an AI system to generate projects and stuff. And so software developers are the ones that are really good at working with an AI model or agentic AI or whatever, who are really good at working with it to generate the highest quality product. I guess we might be more of specification creators rather than coders, yeah, in the future. And like I said, I absolutely love writing code. I love figuring out the problems, doing the research, coming to that aha moment. It really gives me this massive boost. I do not want that to ever go away. However, I have found that I do enjoy working with Claude, giving it access to a GitHub repo and adding the files. Like the way that I've been doing it is, here's my README that tells you about the project. Here's my project structure. And here is the current thing that we're working on and the relevant files. Let's improve it from here. And so what I was doing this morning was working on improving my OAuth stuff for the bot. I want to add this is what my bot UI currently looks like. So I want to add a button up here that after I have connected to PubSub, which will be Event Sub in the future, I'm able to disconnect from it. Or I'm able to refresh the connection manually. So I'm like, let's take a look at my current authentication authorization system and improve it. And so it started giving me some code. While it was generating the code for that, I was working on RTrack, which is a client application, and I was doing all of the coding and stuff myself. And what I was starting to also do is I would take the code that Gemini would give me, paste it into the bot. So this is where that code went. It's a page called OAuth. Not OAuth controller. I found out that the OAuth controller isn't even used. Here it is. Nope. Oh, it's called there it is. Authorization helper. So I found this page and I'm like, oh, this is how I'm doing it. I just have a URL directly to, oh, no, I'm sorry. We're one page too far. Main layout. Take me here. I have a URL that just points me to the Twitch login, which then redirects back to my OAuth authorization helper page, which does all this stuff in the background. And I was like, okay, well, here is my authorization helper. How can we improve this to do refresh token? How can we improve this to do logout and reconnect type of activities? And so it gave me some code to use, and then I had a discussion with it. But then I was like, okay, I need to drop that. So let me ask it a coding question for it to write more code. And then I went back to RTrack. So I'm pretty much delegating one project to an AI agent while working on another project. And I'm like, I'm not angry at this. I couldn't care less about the bot or learning how the bot works. I just want a working bot that does the things that I want it to do. I don't need to maintain it. I can just ask AI to update it whenever I need it to update it, even if I don't understand the code. Is that dangerous? Could be. I'm open to thoughts on that, by the way. Especially thoughts of that is one of the worst things to use AI for. Or to do with AI. But honestly, I really do foresee this happening where we don't write code. Which is sad. But it's what it looks like to me. It's the future I see. So where is this code that it gave me, though, that I could have sworn that I checked into the repo? Hey, Lev. Yeah, you need to commit this. This is the thing that I was talking about yesterday as well, where I'm working on code on one computer and then I come over here to stream. So I need to make sure that it's pushed even if it's not complete so that I can pull it to work on it. S'mores. S'mores. I want s'mores. Dana is saying, I think AI is still kind of new, so I think us developers exploring its use cases is just a good thing. I agree. The thing that I haven't been agreeing with lately is that AI is not good enough to write full applications. I've actually found that not to be the case. Like, within reason. It's really good at writing back-end code, in my opinion. Robust back-end code. That is specific to the domain that I am asking it about. And I don't know if it's just because of the way that I'm querying it or using it or telling it to do stuff, but it has impressed me. Very, very, very much. Yeah, so here's, let me close and reopen so I can get my syntax highlighting back. Oh no, I just stopped the bot. I forgot that I'm running the bot locally currently. Kid. Okay, well, since I know that running the bot locally is still having the same issues that running the bot on the server does, which is it takes a long time before the message that I'm sending to the LLM actually gets to the LLM before it starts generating the response. And when it does actually receive the message, it generates this response really fast. Although the last message was not like that, so I don't know. I don't know, man. Cotton. But Dana is saying I would never 100% trust it. True, but consider this. This is the analogy that I keep going back to. It's like people who used to do typewriter writing and stuff, or kept everything on hard copy. I would never trust a computer to keep copies of my important documents. There are still people out there that are like, I need to print everything. Because computers are not reliable. They're going to lose data. Even if I put stuff in the cloud, it's going to be accessible by anyone, but
need to print the internet.
We don't. We really don't. Thank you, Dikasoft. That was perfect. I want to do it too.
We don't need to print the internet.
Just to remind you, we don't need to print the internet. So my point to that, yeah, we'll probably get to that point with AI in the future. My point to that is we do, and it's good, it's healthy. We do initially have reservations around using new technologies to replace old ways of doing things. We have a lot of ISTJs out here in the world that are like, there's an established way to do this, and if you change that way, everything is going to break. And then you have all of the sevens, the Enneagram sevens out there in the world that are like, let's do the new thing. Let's have the new experiences. And they jump right into it without being ready. And then I would like to think there are the INTJ ones specifically out there that are like, well, let's use it. It's new. Use it, test its capabilities for ourselves, find out how far we can take it, and make use of the parts that are good and not lie to ourselves about the parts that are not good. Don't just do it for the sake of new shiny thing. Do it because it is a tool that is appropriate to use. But also, don't be too afraid of using new things. I broke something with that pool. Oh. Aha. I think it's my package sources. Yeah. But again, I'm just saying these things, they are my opinions. I could be way off on all of these things. I could be completely wrong. So if you do have a differing opinion, I would love to hear it, and I will not treat you like you are also in the same boat as me, just dreaming and hoping things are better than they actually are. Correct. There is no more Z drive. So let's update my NuGet packages to D drive. The D drive be called dead drive? Okay, how about now? Restore. So Dana is saying, programming and coding really opens up when you can view it as a set of tools to solve a problem instead of just learning a specific language framework for the sake of it, to say, man, I know this thing. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. Are you still having package? Wait, really? I thought D drive was my dev drive. Is it not? It is. RMA Git. Oh, I don't have the RMA Enterprise folder, do I? I don't have the RMA Enterprise folder. I need to get the RMA Enterprise folder. Somebody know where my RMA Enterprise folder is. I hope you're having a good day, Dukasoft. I don't want to bother you too much. You haven't talked much, most likely for a reason, so I don't want to force you to start talking just because you did a thing. But I do hope your day is going well. And honestly, like, when I bring up these topics, it's really hard for me to know whether I'm in the minority with this mindset of adopting AI as a technology that we can use as developers to be even better developers. Like, I agree with the people that say it's dangerous for a person that is new to software development to fully rely on AI. At the same time, if that's where we're heading anyway, where people aren't going to be coding, maybe we do need people in the industry that rely solely on AI mixed in with the people that have been doing software development for 20, 30 years, so that the people that have been doing software development for a long time can see what the pitfalls of someone relying solely on AI with no software development skills, what the pitfalls are in that scenario so that it can be improved. Or maybe we find an alternative. Thyrobius is who I'm trying to go to. D drive, repos. Where's your repos folder, Thyrobius? I put it on Lev. Did I put Angie's on you then? I'm talking to my computers like they can respond to me. Cause it can, dang it. Okay, RMA get and local NuGet, please. Or NuGet local. Is it all in RMA get, RMA Enterprise? RMA Enterprise, RMA Enterprise. Yeah, it's all in RMA Enterprise. As long as AI can fix the tedious boilerplate stuff, I'm happy. Yeah. Like I said, I'm really enjoying using it as I'm delegating this other project to you completely. You own it. You fix all the things. I'll identify the things that are wrong and I'll tell you about them, but you fix them. I'm not going to understand how it works. For my work products, I'm still the one at the helm. I'm still the one writing all of the code for it so that I know the code in and out, so that if a user says, here's this issue, then I can go in and fix those issues. Okay, so for now, I need to turn off this package source. Again, that's one of those situations that I don't even know I need to do. Like, it has impressed me so much that I would feel very comfortable having it do an entire library that I know very little about. Yeah, sure. You can test me on that. I've surprised myself with how much of the code base I remember. Like how much of it I'm like, I need to check this thing. Like, it's funny. You know what I mean when I say we by now, right? We made those changes to RTrack back in 2022, and I'm like, I do not remember any of this UI whatsoever. But when it came to, all right, let's think through the process of how does this thing do a records check? And then I'll just remember all of this convoluted mess that is the RTrack workflow for doing the records check process and know exactly which stored procedure to go to. I don't think I have access to, or I don't think I restored the local RTrack database. Yeah. But it's like, I know to go to that CSP underscore record check first, and that CSP underscore record check calls into the COC verify and the other one, COC status, I think. Anyway, and then it moves on to all of these other ones, and I'll just know. And I'm like, I really don't remember knowing that. Where did that come from? But I can't remember something we did more recently. I like how it split this up. I'll be honest and say that I can't. I can remember a lot of it. It's weird. Like, there's a lot of it that's just, I don't know where this code came from. I don't know what this is, and it's something that I did recently. But when it comes to functionality and trying to address an issue, it's like, oh, I remember this thing, like almost instantly. And I'm like, but do I? I can't do that with anything else. Why can I remember that for this specific thing? It just happened often. Okay, I should be able to restore now because I turned off that NuGet source. State has changed, is synchronous and fast. Why'd you want to invoke it async? There's a few reasons. I don't think I need to in this case, but if for whatever reason the thread that is running the method, so like if I'm using system, like it's probably just a bad habit by now. If I'm using a timer, system.timers.timer, and I'm using the, I know you're down here somewhere. and I'm using the .elapsed callback, then this, we're not guaranteed, especially if I'm running Blazor server or Blazor on the server, we're not guaranteed that this is going to run on the UI thread. And so I would need to make sure that we context switch to the UI thread. Yeah, something about threads. That we context switch to the correct thread that is able to re-render all of the UI. But something like on initialized, needing to use await invoke async state is changed, probably don't need to do, especially since that does allocate a lot of stuff, a lot more stuff than we need just to do a synchronous call. So you're right about that. Thank you for pointing that out. But I really do think it's just that I got into the habit of doing that because I started using timers to do stuff like debounce, and in this case, redirect the page to another page. So Stone Eagle says, many media server applications are a fork of another. And I was like, yeah, let's not do that because I will never understand any of it. Yeah, because then you'll like, I think also the thing that I go back to is the job that I've done as a developer for almost my entire career has been inherit someone else's code base, learn it in and out as if I was the one that wrote it, and fix it, make it better. So having an AI generate an entire code base is kind of like a dream for me because I get to have someone else create this work. It can be as messy or as clean as it happens to be. And then I go into it, I learn the whole code base, I make it better because that's my favorite thing to do as a software developer. Take an existing code base and make it awesome. I say awesome, but it's never really awesome, is it? Dana is saying, speaking of AI, I'm always fascinated of how the development environment must have been like 20 to 30 years ago. Like no Git, no Docker, no cloud services, fewer frameworks, less internet documentation, no AI, worse editors, fewer programming language features, etc. It wasn't that bad. Like, I don't even know. Man, this is really difficult for me because I didn't start. Oh man. I was in university from 2000 to 2009. No Stack Overflow. I was at university from 2000 to 2009. I was doing Java development using Oracle databases and MySQL. A little bit of C and C++ just because those were part of the core classes, a little bit of assembly, a little bit of Camel, OCaml. Not stuff I really cared about, so I didn't learn it very well. I tried doing graphics design as my focus. Found out that, graphics CG. I wanted to be a graphics designer for the longest time. But I sucked at Maya. I sucked at any modeling software, CAD. I was just terrible at it. Until databases. And then I was hooked on it. And so I learned everything that I could about databases from a book. I don't like learning from books, but because I was interested enough in databases, I definitely consumed all of the things that were available about databases. And at the time, they were books. There were very little internet resources, as you mentioned. But still, there was, what was the version control process like before Git? I didn't have to use it, but when I went for my couple of temporary assignments with the actual development team for the human resources software that we used in the office that I was in, they used SVN. And I didn't get it. I never fully grasped how to use SVN. Locarno is saying going from SourceSafe BSS to SVN was a great leap forward. I've heard a lot about SourceSafe. I've never used it myself. I just hear I hear trauma about it. Locarno also said, I was programming .NET 20 years ago. The problems were easier. And that's the other thing. Because we didn't have all of these myriad of ways to do things, we just had pretty much one accepted practice for how to write a method, how to access a variable. It was a lot simpler. So yeah, I guess with the new language features that make quality of life better, it also complicates things and makes things harder. So that's a good thought. Dukasoft says, I could remember my code back then. SourceSafe apparently released in 1994. President Not Sure is saying, it was not hugely different than today as far as the IDEs. What did I just push? I think I just deleted stuff. That was an accident. Okay. As far as the IDEs, etc., which were just slower along with the hardware and software, but it was much harder to figure out how to do and fix things. I don't know. I still kind of think that because of the number of technologies used in applications today and the expectations on an individual, thank you so much for the follow, the expectations on an individual developer nowadays to know so much more than you used to be required to. Again, when I was on that other team, again, they were only 3-month stints where I was working on one specific functionality for one specific app. That team managed that application and a couple others. It was still each person had their specialization. One person was great at integrating all of the database calls. So you would go to them to write whatever queries you needed in the application. In the correct way using SQL parameters and all of that fun stuff. Another one would be great at UI. They would only focus on getting the UI functionality stuff to work. Another one would be great at this code behind logic stuff. So they were ASP.NET, or not even ASP.NET, they were ASP Classic web pages, web forms that we were using. And so there would be the one person that's like, well, for that you should use this kind of setup. Here's how you use master pages or whatever they used to be called. Does anyone remember those? Wasn't there something called master pages in ASP? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh. Apparently this was ASP.NET though. This wasn't even classic. President Not Sure is now saying that pressure to know basically everything was always there. Really? Huh, even 20 plus years ago. It was just difficult to figure it out on your own. There were books and hopefully there were experts in, yeah, so there were definitely experts when I was at the one experience that I had twice. Does that make sense? The one experience that I had twice working with that organization that managed the HR system. There were a lot of SMEs for very specific parts of the application. There were books and hopefully there were experts in whatever you were trying to do. You had to do a lot of hacking or just outright abandoning something if you couldn't get info on why it was broken. Okay, I remember that a bit. Yeah. I do remember that. The only formal training was external and very expensive. If your company was willing to send you on it, it made a big difference. So, oh, if your company was willing to send you on it, it made a big difference. Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, it's so hard for me to remember that time though, because close to the time that I started doing the, I'm going to be a little personal. Close to the time that I was doing that, I was just graduating from college, from university. And by the time I graduated, I was full on alcoholic and drinking at work. And so a lot of that time is just really, really hard for me to remember. I remember a lot of it, but there was still a lot of really poor choices made. So yeah, don't do drugs, don't do alcohol. Or at least if you're going to do alcohol, drink responsibly. Anyway, moving on. Point is that while I was there, I was able to do some pretty amazing things on a team of really amazing people. So that was a lot of fun. It was a really good experience for me. But after that is when I went back to my office, the human resources office that I was stationed at permanently, as my permanent position is what I mean. I was doing more human resources work. I was doing classification of positions. I was doing reading and rating of resumes and interviewing people. And I don't like doing human resources. I wanted to do information systems and improve our human resources systems. So that drove me mad. And I left that place. And then I started working for the VA, which was worse. And then I started working for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal on this development team, which was awesome. And then it got worse. And then I went to Sagetti, and that was a terrible experience. But now I'm here, working as a solo dev, and it's amazing. Well, not solo dev. I've been working with you guys for a long time now. They're awkward. They come out awkwardly. I don't even know why I bring them up, to be honest. Like, as soon as I go back to thinking about how it was in 2009 to 2014, and even beyond then, yeah. So 2017 is when I pretty much decided I know I can't handle alcohol, so I'm just going to stop drinking. And so I did. I got the impression that the Sagetti experience was a valuable learning experience. You're absolutely right. It was 100% valuable. I loved the concept that was there. The team dynamic, the culture itself was just, it was hard to deal with. It was very shocking. The client relationships were, it blew my mind. How do you go into a client meeting? There are 3 stakeholders, and how many people were on our team? 7 team members of the development team, all contractors from Sagetti. Actually, no, I'm sorry. All but 3 of them were contractors from Sagetti. The other 3 were, there were 3 that were from a different agency. Anyway, point is that like the stakeholders would pretty much get into a shouting match, like literal shouting match with the project manager. And there would be so much berating talk from the technical owner to team members of mine. And I'm like, well, what? This is allowed in a professional environment. So it was just very shocking to me. I was not expecting it. I did love the work. I did love working on a team and what it felt like working on a team, but I did not like the actual interactions between the team and the client, and then with other members of the team. So it was rough. It was very rough as far as people were concerned. I just, this is why I'm like, I've doubled down on when you come to this stream, the thing that I would like us to focus more on are each other's accomplishments and, you know, helping each other out when we're in a slump, and not like toxic positivity, but in the sense of let's just build each other up. Even if that means, yo, you're doing that in a way that's just not good. Let me call you out on that. Which you guys can do and have done for me. So I appreciate it. Yay. Wait, no, it's still not building. Anyway, Smirking Squiggly is here. I'm gonna drop that subject. We can go to that at a different time. Smirking Squiggly is here. It is the end of my normal community day, but if there is anyone who has conversation that they want to bring up, now is a good time. I will give this until I figure out why my NuGet packages aren't restoring. Is that what's happening? NuGet restore failed. See the error list for detailed warnings. Oh, failed to restore. See error list window for warning for the day. It's been 2 hours. It has. So community days are only 2 hours long. Normally, what I had been doing until recently was I would continue on after community day to do my work product stuff. But I had been stopping after normal community day time when I go back to doing my normal day job. This target's done. Yes, we know that, but that shouldn't be in my build configuration. We've checked this multiple times. So that's not where the issue is. Why can we not restore packages? Tree package. Get rid of the warnings. Yeah, so we know these. Everything that's the Discord app or Discord library is trying to reference the shared models, and I haven't updated the Discord library to .NET 8 because they were imports from Broken Sword's Discord library, and they were things like Azure functions, and I don't have a clue how to upgrade these correctly. Or they're not anymore. I mean, oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Why don't you have the Azure Functions project type logo? I was going to say I'll just change it to .NET 8, but I don't know what that does to Azure Function apps. Azure Function apps, do you get it? Not Azure apps. But yeah, happy Friday to you too, Smirking Squiggly. I hope you're having a great day. Having a fun time. I will be quitting soon. I just want to get this thing building because I know that as soon as I end the stream, I'm going to be going back to that computer over there and working on R-Track. And I won't touch this again until Monday. We just migrated our function apps to .NET 8. So could I, without having to do too many changes, just target .NET 8 and then eventually go through and update the actual projects? Because I haven't done much in the Discord bot portion of the bot. Boldly upgrade. Let's do it then. We're doing it. I guess I could use the upgrade assistant. Wakagwa. Can I deduce what WCGW? I know that GSW is gunshot wound. So are you telling me that I'm going to shoot myself in the foot by doing this? Probably. I think you're right. So also update the Azure Functions packages. I mean, it's already not building, so let's just see what happens by targeting the new framework only, or the new SDK. I guess framework is the right word. And look, I got my symbols back. I'm going to try to build this one app at a time. So the first one that doesn't have any dependencies is shared models. Build just fine. Then there's shared client. Shared server will depend on TextGen API. Then shared server. Okay, and then from here it gets weird. Oh, I guess, whoops. Shared server does depend on the database projects. But that's fine. It built, so we know that that's going to be successful. The bot or the Discord bot is not building currently, but if we go to the Blazor UI, which then everything else is going to depend on. This is the one that was failing. It still is, and it's doing so because component base is not a thing. Did I screw up the CS proj somehow? Doesn't look like it. What could go wrong is WCGW. Depending on how you deploy to Azure, I haven't been. You may have to change your deployments to run in isolated mode. So yes, I am not running in Azure. I'm not anything with this. Broken Swords bot is the one that is in my Discord. And it has been having issues for quite a while with not really doing the shoutouts correctly. So I tried using Carlbot. You can only add like 2 channels or something like that using Carlbot. So that didn't make sense to keep using. So then I was like, well, let's just go ahead and port over Broken Swords app into my library, into my bot, which I'm going to be hosting locally anyway. He just used Azure Functions. I wanted to learn a little bit about Azure Functions, but then I got too lazy and dropped it. So then the only thing that I really cared about was how is he connecting to the Discord service and subscribing to events using the webhook and such. But it would be nice. I mean, I do need the experience, so it would be nice to deploy to Azure. I mean, I'm in the Microsoft Partner Program through my company, so I may as well use some of the credits. Yeah, I think we should learn how to do that. If you want, Smirking Squiggly, if you ever have time, no requirement to, but if you ever have time, you could walk me through doing that on a community day stream if you felt like it. But definitely only if you have time. I do not want to obligate you into that. Okay. I wish we could find what the original error is. Those are all nullability warnings. And this is just telling me essentially that Blazor doesn't exist in this library. So that was making me think that I broke something. But it's building on a different computer, and all I did was pull latest. So what I think we're going to do instead is delete bin and obj. And just nuke it. Wait, it wasn't done searching. Nuke it. Oh, you have a clean bin and object extension? See, and that's another one of those things where I don't know if it's just that I'm going to be stubborn about it, if I'm going to be old people about it, but it's easy enough for me. Like, I say I'm lazy, but it's easy enough for me to just open the folder and search for bin or obj. But there is a command line that will do it just as well. That actually does delete the bin and obj folders, which is one step easier than what I'm doing anyway. And now you're saying that there is an extension that's even easier. What's the extension's name? I'll take it. Yeah, okay. So what I'm thinking this is... Oh, wait. I know what happened. I know exactly what happened. Clean on save is turned on. And so it removed the usings that weren't recognized because I had restore issues to begin with. Oh man, that's annoying. Why would you do that? Why? Anyway, it should build now. But I'm gonna grab this extension. It's called Clean Bin and Obj. Oh. Why are you downloading from an external site though? I'm sorry, I'm not just gonna trust that. That should just be from the marketplace. So why is it downloading from a personal site? I mean, I trust you and all, but I need to check on this before downloading it. Trust but verify, as they say. Who is they? I have no idea. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I never really had clean on save, and I think that's from code cleanup extension. I don't even know where that is. Code cleanup. I probably like skimmed right over it and you guys are just like, it's right there. But I usually get pretty tunnel visioned when I'm on stream. But anyway, there's code cleanup, and that has the clean on save option. And I don't usually turn it on, but since this is a clean install and I re-downloaded, oh yeah, CodeMate is probably what it is now that you say that. Although I don't see it here. I just reinstalled all of my stuff, and that probably turned on a whole bunch of default settings with my extensions. Yeah, I don't even see CodeMade. I could have sworn I installed that. Let me copy and paste this elsewhere so that I don't forget about it. I'll stay you there. But thank you so much for all of that information. Is it okay that I'm calling you Locarno? When you right click in the editor, do you see? Oh yeah, duh. I could have just done that. Thank you. Again, not thinking clearly. So when we get to this point in the stream, I'm like, all right, I really gotta pee, but I want to get this thing done. But and I'm running overtime, and I gotta add this time to the end of my workday, and all of these other thoughts. So then my brain just starts betraying me. But we did get it to build. That's awesome. Right click in the editor. Do you see code made? I do not see code made. The main packages that I reinstall are Dev Essentials, the other Essentials package, which I think is just called The Essentials. Did I spell it wrong? Yeah, I did. Yeah, Dev Essentials, The Essentials. Wait, how is Dev Essentials not installed? I do both of these. Mind you, I've reinstalled 3 operating systems. This is the last one that I reinstalled, so I probably missed some things, such as in this package. So what comes in here? Add new file, file icons, insert GUID, and tweaks. I think those are really the only ones that I would have noticed if they were missing. But yeah, I do Dev Essentials, The Essentials, and Web Compiler. Because I like to use SAS. I get very sassy. Oh, and CSS Colorizer. Color Preview is what I said. I really like this one. Oh, and of course, how could I... Why do you like pain? And of course, no docs. Nice. Beautiful timing, Thindle. Yes. That was perfect. So no docs. Definitely check out no docs, especially if you're someone that presents to other people. It helps to hide your values from XML and JSON files so that you don't accidentally expose keys and such. It doesn't work in Notepad. Not that it was ever supposed to, but it doesn't. But it is a really good tool. I love it. Nor Writer, nor VS Code, but that's okay. That's okay, Pendle. I really do appreciate everything that you've done with no docs. So, ooh, a collab to port it to VS Code. That does sound fun. If you have time, of course. You are also another one of those busy peoples. Yes, we do need a raid target. I don't know that I want to raid though. I've been pretty I don't know, is that selfish? That is selfish of me. It's good etiquette to raid out and to give love to other people, but there's so much additional what's the word I'm looking for? Obligation. I don't like obligation. It's good Twitch-etiquette, but it's never required or demanded. Yeah. I'm considering it, but it's too late. Tomorrow, question man. If you do stream and I happen to see you go live, I will at minimum give you a lurk, but Saturdays are usually just me and my wife disconnected from everything. But that's the thing. So Stony Eagle, I have this, like, among the many issues you've already seen, one of them is that I have this strong sense of my definition of integrity. And because I'm still going to be at my computer and I have these, which are wireless Bluetooth headphones, so I don't have an excuse to not be able to hear. I can't just say, all right, I'm lurking and I'm going to drop your stream, because I'm already going to be lurking on whosever channel it is. And I have been, like Sorcery Story, for example, or Tomate Salat, or right now it's just Adobe. I didn't see anyone else that I typically follow or typically lurk on. Candy's live. We raided him yesterday, though. Was it Candy that we raided yesterday? No, I didn't even raid anyone yesterday. I just showed up on his stream is what happened. And of course, Stony Eagle's going to be like, but AAOA is on. If you didn't know, Stony Eagle is also a mod over there. But yeah. So Thindle is saying, I have 3 devs on my Twitch follow list that are currently streaming. That's quite low. You're one. And I'm not name dropping the other 2 because it's 100% your choice. Point was, not a whole lot of people are on. Yeah, so I have a lot fewer people that are currently streaming on my list. And even fewer of those are developers. And even fewer of those are developers that I would typically raid. Yeah. Nine streams here, 3 devs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's almost like we're following the same group of people, Thindle. I'm guessing the one that I have that you aren't following is Adobe. Just de-lurking to thank you for your stream 1-1. Thank you, Rob Lang. So another fantastic developer. That would be a raid target right there. But Rob Lang has not really streamed recently. Aw. But we just shouted out Canny. But Rob Lang is developer of a game called Chomper. And he does these hilarious and amazing devlogs that are awesome. You have to check out his content. What's your YouTube channel? Oh, you don't actually stream, do you? You just vlog, right? Here it is. I said chomper. Clumper. And he streams when he can. So definitely check out Rob Lang. Amazing, wonderful game. Beautiful looking game. It's just gonna be great. Yes. Just check him out. Just check him out. Sub and follow. No, you. Full of Snubble streams when he can. I saw, I've only ever seen Snubble. I'm just going to call everyone a streamer. I've only seen Snubble presenting live on like actual events, actual conferences and stuff. But you have a lot to offer, Snubble. Why don't you stream? Responsibilities makes it kind of tricky. Well, that's probably another reason that Snubble doesn't. I've seen him as a visitor on other streams. I can't handle talking to myself. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no problem with it. I have no problem at all. Okay, well, anyway, I have gone past. You helped Layla and Alyssa learn the basics of C and assembly. They looked confused. But yeah, that we're gonna call it a day. We will raid out, but I will need to run immediately to the restroom. But I'm gonna come back to our raid targets stream afterwards. It's not gonna be Sorcery Star because she just went offline. There's Tamate Salat, who is a game developer as well. No idea if he's ending soon though. He's been streaming for a long time. There's Canny, who I just love being in his streams. And it's Oik, would be another person that I'd be comfortable raiding into. I really love Oik's personality. Like, one of the coolest guys you will ever meet. Like, super kind, super nice, super real. It's just, I can't listen to his stream. And I like to at least listen to the stream that I am rating into. But the music, like I used to listen to that music all the time. Yeah. But not during my workday, not while I'm doing work stuff anymore. Yeah, nothing wrong with the genre. It's just a lot. It's too much sensory input for me that I'm not controlling myself. So, but yeah, a day. No, it's Friday. It's a special day. So C and assembly are easier to learn than F sharp, or so Snubble is told. You have a good day too, Smoking Squiggly. I will be back again on Wednesday, so I have changed my schedule. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, WTF. You can remember that. From 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and 10:30 on Fridays. Sure, yeah. Idea, please, Thindle. I implemented a blockchain test in F sharp. Oh man, way too much fun. That does not sound fun, Reg. Not to me, at least. Right. So I'm not currently lurking on AAOA's stream. Man, that's a really hard thing to say, especially with one of his mods in here. Yeah. Yeah, and he does that a lot. He goes like from his screen, from his coding screen or his design screen to big head talking mode very often. And so the majority of the stream is a just chatting stream, it kind of feels like. And I mean, mine is too. It's just, I try to have code on the screen. Always feel free to derail him with a design question, though. Yeah, definitely that, though. Yeah. Okay. But we're gonna raid coin toss between Canny, who I just raid often, and Tomate Salat. And here's my coin. The cup side up is Tomate. The cap face down is Canny. Ready? Cap face up. We're going to Tomate. Aww. Who shouted me out in Oik's chat? Was it Oik directly? Tomate Salate. Man, Dukasoft is on top of this. You are the best. Except that we didn't get a chance to shout you out. Follow Dukasoft. He does drone footage. I spelled his name wrong? Tomate under... Oh, it is Tomate Salat, not Salate. Whoops. But follow Dukasoft. He does drone footage. He edits it, puts some good music to it. You get to hang out on his stream when he streams live, have some good conversations while he shows the footage of the places that he's been, and he is getting some more footage soon. So definitely make sure you follow. Turn on that notification bell so you know when he goes live, so you don't miss a stream. How'd I do? How is my YouTube voice? Smash that like button. Nuclear your face into that follow button. I mean, subscribe button. What's it called on YouTube? No, Zelda, you're killing me. Oh, melty. Okay, anyway, that is it for me until next Wednesday. You'll see me around on many people's streams, hanging out, doing work. Ciao for now.